Elon Musk reveals online love secret that left a black millionaire and a homeless man in shock. The room was electric. Cameras flashed. People buzzed like they'd just caught wind of a secret nobody was supposed to hear. And there, on the giant screen behind the stage, flashed the headline, "Elon Musk drops bombshell on digital love. Millions stunned." Alex sat in the front row, heart hammering so loud he thought it might burst. The tech world's golden boy, a black millionaire who just launched the hottest dating app on the planet, was about to get hit with something he never saw coming. His app, LoveLink, had exploded overnight. Profiles surged from thousands to millions. Faces lit up everywhere with the chance of real connection. Digitally crafted, but deeply desired. But Elon Musk, in that cold, robotic voice only the internet could mimic, whispered something chilling. Something about a hidden code buried deep inside every swipe, every message that could trigger raw emotions. The crowd went silent, jaws dropping. Some muttered, "No way." Others squeezed their hands as if bracing for the worst. Alex felt the cold sweat drip down his neck. The pulse in his ears thundered louder than the murmurs. That app, his dream, was now under a spotlight sharper than any he'd ever faced. If Elon was right, if LoveLink's algorithms were feeding emotional traps rather than true connections, hundreds of thousands, maybe millions, were about to suffer. Behind him, his company's board members shifted uneasily. More than one glance locked with Maya, his chief rival. She smiled faintly, full of a predator's patience, waiting for his fall. Alex's mind spiraled back to a darker place. Ghosts of love lost and broken. The endless nights alone. The messages that never got answered. The months he'd spent hiding from the pain. Building walls around his heart as carefully as he built his empire. And yet, hours before the press conference, in a stealthy code nook of LoveLink, Alex had stumbled on something. An enigmatic message buried beneath layers of user data. A message that didn't just promise connection, but something far stranger. Something that might just reach inside and change the way love worked. Maybe even his own. His trembling hands hovered over the keyboard. Should he dive inside this mystery? Or shut it down before the scandal engulfed them all? The crowd outside the hall was roaring now. Reporters shouted wildly, the air thick with tension and fear. Every moment stretched and cracked. Alex's chest squeezed. This was no ordinary business fight. This was personal. It was everything. And right there, in the middle of it all, Alex had to decide, dive deep into the unknown, face what lay buried in his heart, and risk it all. Or retreat to the cold safety of success, leaving love's true meaning dangling dangerously out of reach. The screen flickered again. The enigmatic code blinked just once. Then, silence. What would he do? Hey, before we continue with this amazing story, I need to give you an important warning. Many subscribers have reported that YouTube removed their subscriptions without notice. Take a quick look at the red button below to make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. I don't want you to miss any exclusive content that's coming. And since you're here, drop a powerful like that really helps me with the algorithm. Oh, and let me know in the comments. What city are you watching from? I love getting to know every amazing person who's part of this community. Your participation makes all the difference. Let's interact. The screen flickered again. The enigmatic code blinked just once. Then, silence. Alex's heart raced, a drum pounding against his ribs. He stood there, caught between choices, letting the tension in the room swell. What was hidden in Lovelink? Was it a door to true love, or a trap waiting to snare him and his users in despair? Suddenly, the lights flickered, plunging the room into darkness for a heartbeat. An eerie stillness followed, where even the murmurs seemed to pause, holding their breath. Then, a loud crash shattered the silence, a sound like glass smashing. The crowd gasped, heads swiveling toward the source. And there was Maya, his rival, standing near the back, fury etched on her face. She held a smartphone high, the screen glowing ominously. "You think this is all just a game?" she shouted, her voice slicing through the panic. "You're playing with people's hearts. Look! Look!" Alex squinted as a spotlight lit up her phone. The room darkened further, revealing a stream of scrolling text. Messages from users who thought they had connected, but were being led down a path of manipulation and emotional chaos by Lovelink's hidden code. Disbelief rippled through the crowd, like the shockwave from an explosion. Alex felt his stomach drop, the air turning heavy and thick around him. "What is that?" he yelled, voice strained. "Maya, what are you doing?" Her lips curled into a smirk. "I dug a little deeper, Alex. Turns out those deep connections are just algorithms feeding on users' pasts, trolling their lives for weakness." She turned the phone toward the audience, revealing heartbreaking confessions, painful memories, and moments of vulnerability. Gasps filled the room. A woman near the front covered her mouth, tears brimming in her eyes. No, the pain was palpable, like a punch to the gut. Alex could feel anger mounting within him. "You're lying. I didn't know. I built this for love." His voice cracked, confidence slipping away, replaced by fear and disbelief. "Love or revenue?" Maya shot back, eyes gleaming. "Those messages you sent me about wanting to build something real? All of it was nothing but a facade." His breath was shallow, throat tight. He wanted to argue, to fight back, but each word felt like a stone piled on his chest. Doubts crept in, gnawing at him. Then, just as the audience rallied together, processing the chaos, an urgent voice cut through the clamor. "Alex!" It was his best friend Jake, shoving his way through the throng. "You have to see this!" With a swirling torrent of emotion, Alex turned to face Jake. In his hand, Jake held another device, its screen flashing with a video feed. "I hacked into... Watch!" The screen displayed a darkened room reminiscent of a hidden laboratory, filled with computers and flickering lights. Figures clad in lab coats huddled around a central terminal, their faces illuminated by green glow. They were poring over algorithms, adjusting codes that betrayed emotions, neutralizing them at their core. A chill swept through Alex. What is this?" The pit in his stomach widened. A void of uncertainty. Was this some underground operation, siphoning off users' innermost feelings for profit? "Alex, "These aren't just codes," Jake said, voice low but urgent. "They're manipulating people, making them feel what they shouldn't. This is bigger than you think, and it's not just about Lovelink." The atmosphere thickened with suspicion. Questions spiraled in Alex's mind. Who were these people? What were they doing with his creation? Suddenly, the lights kicked back on, and the audience was staring, wide-eyed, at him, juices of curiosity and fear swirling amongst them. Maya smiled, the predator glint sharper than ever. "Looks like your little secret is out, Alex. But there's more I could tell." Her eyes sparkled with deceitful glee. The tension snapped like a taut cord. All at once, the whole narrative flipped on its head. Was Alex truly an architect of connection? Or had he inadvertently opened a door to something dark? His dreams, now a crumbling empire, left him to wonder, was love ever real? Or had it always been a cruel algorithm? And as the spotlight pressed against him, Alex faced the crowd, trembling, a wound laid bare, leaving everyone questioning. What happens next? The screen flickered one last time before going black. An anxious hush fell over the crowd, every soul in that room holding their breath, as if the air itself had grown thick with tension. Alex's heart raced. How could he face the world? Should he acknowledge the hidden code, the potential manipulation behind his pride and joy? Then the lights dimmed, pulling focus to a single spotlight on ELON, his expression unreadable. The silence felt stifling. Then a crash echoed from the back of the auditorium. All heads jerked around. Ha 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 ha! Gasps rippling through the crowd as a figure burst forward. Wild-eyed, Ava, Alex's estranged sister. The crowd recoiled in confusion. "Ava?" Alex's breath hitched. She had vanished from his life years ago, after a bitter argument over family and dreams. And now, of all moments, ha 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 ha! "Stop the conference," she shouted, trembling and frantic. "You have to listen to me." Maya's smile vanished, replaced by tight lips. The board members exchanged cautious glances. Whispers turned to roars, reporters shifting, phones raised. "Not now, Ava," Alex snapped, heart pounding, half in anger, half in disbelief. "Please, they're lying to you." Ava's voice wobbled, breaking with urgency. "Lovelink, it's more dangerous than you think. I can prove it." Alex's body stiffened. The crowd surged forward, hungry for the drama unfolding. What did she mean? He had spent years trying to bury the past, and here she was, digging it up, right at the worst possible moment. "Prove what?" he pressed, but the words felt heavy in the space between them. "Why do you think I disappeared?" Her eyes glistened with fear, darting around like a hunted animal. "They wanted me to be quiet, but I can't let you keep hurting people. I had to come back." The murmur in the crowd grew louder, a storm of curiosity and discomfort. Faces twisted in confusion. People started whispering their theories. Boomt. Some rolled their eyes. A few exchanged skeptical glances as they waited for the show to continue. But then an explosive bolt of static erupted from the stage speakers, snapping everyone's attention back to ELON. "This isn't about your family drama, young lady. We're talking about innovations in technology. Suddenly, a series of lights switched on, illuminating a massive screen at the back. The crowd gasped. Real-time data scrolled quickly, user interactions, swipes, messages. A compilation of the darkest, most unsettling statistics laid bare before everyone. Thousands are breaking down emotionally right now, Ava yelled, her voice raw. This app is manipulating their feelings. The code you hide, it's designed to drive people to obsession. Alex felt a sickening twist in his gut. No. It couldn't be true. But the chaos of the moment began to rattle around him like broken glass. Each of Ava's words hit harder than he ever expected. "Alex, you need to shut it down!" she cried out with fierce desperation. "Or their pain will be on your hands!" That struck like a blade. He was on the precipice of losing everything. His dream, his reputation. Everything he had built was crumbling in his grasp. As the tension reached a fever pitch, something deep within stirred. Awakening fears he thought were buried. And suddenly, it happened. A scream fractured the air, louder than anything. A woman in the crowd collapsed, clutching her heart. Panic flared, people surged back, and chaos erupted. "Call an ambulance," someone shouted, voices overlapping in a wave of confusion and dread. The world spun. Alex's vision narrowed on Ava. Questions burned in his mind, but they couldn't drown out the reality crashing around him. Connections, emotions intertwined like vines. Was Lovelink a blessing or a curse? In the eye of the storm, with breath caught in his throat, Alex realized everything hung in the balance. His choices, his family, and the truth that was slowly unraveling. What if nothing was as it seemed? He had to decide. Was Ava the answer, or the harbinger of his worst nightmare? Ava's voice cut through the air sharply, wrapping the audience in disbelief. Heavy breaths filled the room, nerves crackling like static electricity. Alex stood frozen, the chaos swirling around him. The crowd split, eyes darting back and forth, searching for clarity in the storm. The woman on the floor was being crowd-surfed away, but all he could focus on was Ava's desperation. "Alex!" she cried, sweeping her arm dramatically towards him. "You have to understand, it's not just about the app or your success. It's about real lives." "Lives?" he echoed, disbelief drenching his voice. "What do you mean? Everything was planned. Lovelink was never yours alone." Ava shouted, her eyes aflame with truth. "They wanted to control you. They've been watching you. None of this was organic. The push for users, the data collected, it's all orchestrated." The crowd gasped again, the weight of her words settling over them like thick fog. Alex felt as if the ground was slipping under him. "You can't be serious. Who's they?" She hesitated for a heartbeat. The panic in her eyes morphed into fear. "I didn't want you to get hurt. But you must know what happened to our mother." The mention of their mother hit like a freight train. Memories flooded back, sharp and raw. The arguments, the tears, the nights spent wondering where everything had gone wrong. "What does she have to do with this?" Alex stumbled, his voice thick. They found her!" Ava cried, her words tumbling out like stones. "They used her to keep me quiet." "Alex, I swear they're manipulating the algorithms based on my mother's data. She was part of their experiment." A hush fell over the audience, stunned. Alex's heart raced, blood rushing to his ears. How could this be true? Memories of his mother, her warmth, her laughter, turned into knives in his gut. But why would they? Before he could finish, the ground shook. A loud crash echoed from the back as a figure came teetering onto the stage, disheveled, wild-eyed, a collision of fear and resolve. It was Jake, his best friend, who had disappeared during the chaos. He was breathing heavily, clutching a flash drive. "Alex, you have to see this!" Jake panted, eyes darting to Ava before locking onto his friend. "I found something important! Something that connects everything! Your sister, Lovelink, and the lab." Ava's eyes widened. "What do you mean? They've been watching me for years. What did you find?" "Evidence!" he blurted out, shoving the drive towards her. "It shows how Lovelink's services are being run not just for profit, but to siphon emotions. And there are users in the system who've disappeared." A collective gasp rippled through the audience. Faces went pale. Someone in the back yelled, "What are you saying? Disappeared?" "Listen to me," Jake urged, stepping toward the spotlight. "I hacked in. There's a group. This isn't just a dating app. It's an emotional control weapon. They're harvesting feelings. Love, hate, everything." Stunned silence fell harder than before. A woman in tears clung to her friend, shaking her head, disbelief grounded in pain. Alex's own mind raced. What had he created? What had he been building? He turned to Ava, searching her expression. Then, chaos erupted again as an emergency siren blared to life outside the auditorium, cutting through the suffocating tension. Someone screamed. A shadowy figure burst in, frantic eyes scanning the room. "Stop the conference! It's not safe!" The figure shouted, stumbling over a chair. "They're coming!" "What?" They really want to know. "They're trying to erase everything. Now!" Alex's pulse quickened. The shocked crowd gasped collectively, drawing back like a wave retreating from an oncoming storm. In that moment, everything broke. Was it truly about the love he had wanted to promote, or the darker currents twisting under his feet? As the lights flickered out again, panic surged through the crowd. In the darkness, he caught a flash of something in Ava's eyes. Was it fear or resolve? The chaos spun tighter, voices melding into a cacophony. "What's happening?" Alex shouted, but all he received was silence swallowed by confusion. He stepped closer to Ava, desperate for answers. Beyond the shouts and chaos, he felt the weight of every decision pressing down. The room vibrated with a strange energy. The air thickened, brewing with mystery, secrets hidden just beneath the surface. What truth lay shielded from view? Was love truly this twisted, or had he just plunged into a nightmare? And as the figure stumbled back, urging everyone to flee, Alex felt the barbs of uncertainty pierce through the fabric of his reality. What was the real cost of connection? The screen flickered one last time, and Alex's breath hitched. Anxiety gripped him like a vice. The moment hung in the air, dense with anticipation and dread. Then it happened. A loud crash echoed from the back of the hall, cutting through the thick silence like a knife. The crowd turned, heads snapping towards the source. Gasps filled the room. A figure stumbled into view, breathless. It was a woman, wild-eyed, disheveled. Her clothes were torn, as if she'd been caught in a storm. Someone shouted her name, but the words were lost in the chaos. It was Sarah, Alex's sister. "Alex!" she shouted, voice cracking. "You need to stop this! You don't understand!" Panic danced across her face, eyes darting as she processed the crowd's shocked expressions, the cameras that rolled and flashed. What? Sarah? Alex felt a gut punch as he slipped into disbelief. He fought against the surge of emotions, confusion, fear, anger all boiling within him. "What are you doing here?" She rushed to the front, and Alex felt the crowd shift, murmurs cascading like a wave. People leaned in closer, hungry for the gossip, the drama. "The app!" Sarah gasped, placing her hands on the podium for support, breathless with urgency. "It's dangerous! It's not what you think!" Cold dread settled in Alex's stomach. He could feel his heart pounding, sickeningly loud. "What are you talking about?" "The code, Alex! The hidden code! It manipulates emotions. It uses real data. Our data. It's taking our memories, our experiences. It turns them into algorithms. People won't just feel good or bad. They'll feel broken." Her voice cracked on the last word. The crowd was stunned. Whispers surged. The board members exchanged glances. Incredulity plastered on their faces. Maya's smile had vanished, replaced by a wary frown. "Stop it! You're scaring everyone!" Alex shot back, but her words were clawing at him. She couldn't be serious. Could she? Sarah took a step closer, desperation etched into her features. "I found the files, Alex. The original code, hidden deep in the app's architecture. It's manipulating the very fabric of our memories." The air in the room felt suffocating. The atmosphere twisted into something dark and heavy. A storm was brewing, a shocking revelation that tossed everything into chaos. Suddenly, a tie into the past snapped. Alex remembered the late-night talks with Sarah, their shared struggles, the raw moments of vulnerability. Tears pricked his eyes as he thought of the love they had, the loss. "You're not making sense." But then he saw it. The raw fear in her eyes was as familiar as a mirror reflecting back his own. A flicker of something deeper than sorrow. It was hope. Hope and truth knotted together, and in that moment he felt the foundation of his world trembling. The crowd held its breath, caught between disbelief and the urgency of the moment. Alex's hands trembled as he thought of LoveLink, the $1 million app built on what? Deception? As tension thickened, Sarah's voice broke through the silence again. "You have to shut it down, Alex, or people will pay a price we can't even begin to imagine." His heart raced. Could he trust her? Was it too late? The screen behind them buzzed. Zeros and ones flickered ominously. Alex's gaze darted back to it. This wasn't just about business anymore. It was personal, a fight for truth. And just like that, uncertainty shattered his resolve. Oh, the room seemed to darken, closing in on him. People were waiting. Alex had a choice to make. Could he risk everything? Or would he let it all slip away, leaving love buried beneath layers of code? He took a step back, caught in the pull of fear and loyalty, the weight of his decisions crashing down like thunder. What would he do next? The crowd held its breath, and Alex felt time freeze. The code blinked once more, then vanished from the screen, leaving a void that echoed with uncertainty. Suddenly, a loud crack echoed through the auditorium, breaking the tense silence. A figure rushed into the room, a woman, hair wild and eyes wide, cutting through the crowd like a bullet. It was Lena, Alex's old friend and the genius coder who had helped him build LoveLink from scratch. She was supposed to be miles away, but here she was, panting, alarm painted across her face. "Alex!" she shouted, her voice slicing through the murmur of confusion. "You have to stop it! Now!" A frantic energy filled the air, an electric pulse that made Alex's heart race. "What are you talking about?" he said, fear creeping into his chest. "The code!" Lena's breath came in quick gasps. "It's not what you think! It's a trap! Point. It learns from us, Alex. It's designed to manipulate users in ways we never imagined." His mind spun. The crowd, once waiting in anticipation, now leaned in, eyes locked on the drama unfolding. Whispers bounced off the walls. "What trap? Manipulate how? Is this a joke?" Lena stepped closer, urgency pushing her words faster. "The algorithms are not just matching profiles. They're studying vulnerabilities, crafting emotional responses to make people stay hooked, stay hurt, keep scrolling. It's like a digital spider web. And you're the one who spun it." Alex's throat tightened. The weight of her words crashed down. Memories flashed through his mind. People sharing their deepest pains, connecting over losses, all while a hidden force twisted their experiences into something grotesque. "I had to get you alone to explain." Lena's eyes darted to the side, fear etched on her face. "And that's not all. Someone's watching us. They know what we did, what's buried in the code." Maya's smile faded into a mask of disbelief, and for the first time, Alex noticed how she stood against the backdrop, arms crossed, tension taut in every line of her body. "Someone?" he echoed, panic clawing at him. "Who?" The answer was interrupted by a sudden crackle from the speakers, the sound sharp and jarring. The lights flickered, and something shifted in the atmosphere. Eyes turned back to the stage, where the giant screen now displayed a new message. An anonymous video feed, the grainy image sharpening as the voice filled the room. "Hello, LoveLink users," an unfamiliar voice sneered. "And hello, Alex. We know all about your little secret. Welcome to the next phase. Welcome to the reality of our design." Gasps erupted around him. The words dug deep into Alex's stomach like icy knives. "What the hell is this?" Maya shouted, her poise slipping. The video continued, vibrant and full of malice. "You see, it's not just about love. It's about control. And now, you're all part of the game." The screen cracked with static, then faded to black. Alex stood dumbfounded, realizing the ground beneath him was shifting, destabilizing everything he thought he knew. Lena's eyes held fear, and in that moment, Alex heard his heart pounding frantically against his ribcage. "We have to shut it down," she cried. "All of it." But could he? Could he really destroy the very thing that had become his lifeblood? The dream he fought so hard to build? What if the code was deeper than he thought? What if it couldn't be stopped? As chaos erupted on the floor, fake smiles turned into real panic, and in one devastating blow, relationships began to tremble. Secrets were flung into the open, and the raw truth hung like a storm cloud. Alex found himself surrounded by shadows he never knew were there. What did this mean for love? For connection? For him? The truth loomed ahead, darker and more dangerous than he could ever imagine. And suddenly, it hit him. Some secrets were not meant to be uncovered. The screen flickered again, casting a brief glow over Alex's apprehensive face. An unsettling heaviness hung in the air. His heart pounded like a bass drum, and sweat trickled down his back. For a moment, the world outside melted away, and it was just him and the enigmatic code pulsing on the screen like a heartbeat. Then, everything changed. A sudden crash echoed from the back of the room. The sound shattered the tension like glass. Alex whipped his head around, instinct screaming at him. A man stumbled into the venue, wild-eyed and panting, his clothes torn and dirty. The crowd turned, a wave of gasps and whispers rippling through the hall. "It's happening! It's all happening!" he shouted, face contorted with panic. People exchanged confused glances. Who was this guy? Just a crazy? "Wait!" Alex shouted, his throat tight. He stepped off the stage. The moment felt surreal, a dream where reality warped and twisted. "What are you talking about?" The man stumbled closer, eyes darting. "The code! It's not just a secret, it's a trap!" His voice echoed, shaking with urgency. Lovelink is a control mechanism. They're using it to manipulate feelings, to create addiction, real emotional dependency. A murmur swept through the audience. Shock and curiosity mixed in a chaotic brew. Alex felt his pulse quicken. Was it madness or clarity? The man's expression shifted from frightened to desperate. "I lost everything to it. I was a part of it, a gaining company masquerading as a dating app. They use algorithms to create connections and then yank them away, making people chase after false feelings. I'm here to warn you, you're in danger." The crowd surged forward, voices rising, disbelief crashing like waves. Alex swallowed hard, the walls closing in. Lovelink had been imagined as a beacon of hope, a pathway to love. But now, was it just a digital prison? Suddenly, the lights flickered again, accompanied by heavy static that drummed through their ears. The screen erupted with new images, faces of users, illuminated in a cold blue glow. Alex's heart sank, recognition flooding back. These were real profiles, fragments of lives entwined in the web he'd created. Each image felt like a dagger, twisting deeper as memory surged. But there was more. Among the faces flashing on the screen was Maya, a close-up of her smiling, a smile that now felt sinister. Breathing, staggered, the world around Alex faded to a dark blur. A dreadful realization unfolded. Maya wasn't just a rival. She had known. Had she played him all along? His gaze returned to the man, who was now shouting into the chaos. "You think love is a game? It's a weapon!" Panic rose in Alex's chest, sharp and insistent. Blood thundered in his ears. Then, as if summoned by the turmoil, alarms blared. The room plunged into swirling chaos. Faces turned wild, scrambling for exits, gasping for breath. Alex's entire world felt like a crumbling sandcastle, waves crashing in every direction. Maya caught his eye, a cold glint in her smile, a predator's grin, full of secrets. "You didn't know, did you?" she mouthed, the words drowned by the noise. The man continued, "Your lives, your loves, they're at stake. The game has changed." And in that moment, everything shifted. Trust shattered. New alliances formed in the shadows. Doubt ripped through the heart of what Alex thought he controlled. In that frantic storm of sounds and sights, he faced a choice: confront the twisted reality of Lovelink, or dive deeper into the unknown. Each path teetered on the edge of disaster, and the weight of the room pressed in on him. The truth loomed like a storm cloud, and as he stood there, lost in the chaos, he realized everything was about to change. What would he do next? The question hung heavy in the air, a dark promise waiting to be fulfilled. The air hung heavy, every heartbeat a drum of chaos. Alex felt the panic radiating like heat waves, the crowd pressing closer, drawn to Lena's desperate plea. But as the mystery of Lovelink unfolded, something else stirred in the depths of his turmoil. Suddenly, lights flickered and the screens buzzed violently. The figure who had burst into the auditorium, wild-eyed and frantic, grabbed Alex's sleeve, pulling him aside. "Trust me, Alex, you don't understand. They're not just manipulating emotions. They're after you." "What do you mean?" Alex's voice trembled, his mind racing, trying to catch up with the spiraling revelations. "They want control over you, your data, your emotions, your families. It's all connected. Your app unleashed something deeper." Before he could respond, the ground beneath them shook. The lights swirled into darkness, a heartbeat of fear that clung to the room. The crowd gasped and turned, searching for safety. And then it happened. A deep rumble echoed, and with a violent crash, a huge projection screen behind Elena shattered, the glass raining down in a glitter of panic. Amidst the chaos, a dark figure leaped through the broken frame, stumbling onto the stage. It was a familiar face, one Alex hadn't seen in years, his long-lost mother. "Mom?" Alex's voice cracked, the word barely escaping his lips. The sight of her twisted his heart into knots. She looked frazzled, desperation tightening her face, eyes wide with fear. "I'm here to help," she gasped, breathless, struggling with the remnants of her past that clung to her. Memories he thought were buried deep. "You don't understand." Suddenly, the whole audience was frozen in shock. Were they seeing what he was seeing? Alex's heart raced between disbelief and joy, pain clawing at the edges. Why now, after all this time? Her eyes filled with tears. "They took me away for research, Alex. The algorithms, they hold me captive. I can't remember everything, but I tried to escape, to warn you." The room erupted into whispers and gasps, a wave of confusion washing over the crowd. How could this be happening? But it didn't stop there. The screen flickered back to life, and chaotic data rushed across. Faces and messages he recognized from the app. They're using personal histories. They've erased our lives to feed the algorithm. Then, like a shockwave, his sister Ava's voice cut through the chaos, rising above the shock of realization. "Mom!" The word burst from her mouth with an intensity that shattered the air. Ava rushed toward Alex's mother, crying out, desperate for connection. "You're alive? But I thought—" Another crash emanated from the back of the auditorium, as if the whole world was shaking. The crowd shrank back, fear boiling over. "Get away from her!" someone yelled. But Alex didn't even hear the voice. All he could focus on was the woman he thought he lost. In a heartbeat, emotions twisted wildly. The longing for family tangled with the whispers of betrayal and the raw truth of a shattered past. They wanted Lovelink to control the emotions of everyone, to manipulate our lives. They used her, and they're using you. The urgency was thick, each word a lifeline. A technician stepped forward, stricken, fingers trembling as he held up his laptop, showing real-time stats. "We found a failsafe in the code that links to your family. It's tied to the algorithm and your mother's disappearance." Alex's world crumbled under the weight of reality. Each heartbeat felt like a drum of impending disaster. Questions spiraled through his mind. How could it all be connected? With his mother in front of him, old wounds reopened, revealing scars he thought had healed. Alex's heart ached. The truth brought clarity, but it felt like a trap. Would he expose everything he loved or safeguard his dreams? As the audience buzzed with confusion and panic, he locked eyes with Maya, surprisingly silent now, her expression torn between empathy and shock. Was she part of this too? With a breath so shaky, it nearly shattered, Alex faced his mother, his sister, the crowd, the truth, the gut-wrenching dilemma ahead. What do we do now? And just as time seemed to stand still, the room lit up with blinding flashes, panic swelling anew. The future loomed before them, dark and uncertain, and Alex realized he had to make a choice that might change everything. Would he unravel the layers of manipulation surrounding Lovelink, or protect his family from the dark truth? Did love mean sacrificing everything to save those he held dear? The crowd's breath caught in unison, all eyes on Alex, waiting for a decision that could shatter everything. His heart was a tempest, a storm raging within, fueled by a mix of fear and love. "What do we do now?" he repeated, voice shaking. His mother looked at him, desperation etched onto her face. "We need to expose the truth." But before he could respond, the ground shook, a violent tremor that jolted the audience. The lights flickered erratically. The entire building felt alive, electric. And then, chaos erupted. The loud crash of shattering glass echoed through the air. A figure burst through the shattered window from above, diving into the crowd. Gasps filled the room. Security rushed to intervene, but Alex was frozen, eyes wide in shock. The figure landed, rolling gracefully to their feet. The hood fell back, revealing a familiar face. Jake, but he looked different, haunted. "Alex!" he yelled, his voice strained. "I found something you need to see." A loud explosion of sound cut him off. A device in his hand sparked violently. "No, it's connected to the app." In an instant, the crowd was enveloped in a blinding flash, a massive signal beacon pulsing like a heartbeat. People screamed, some diving for cover, others staring in horror. Maya pressed forward, eyes wide, anger simmering beneath the surface. "What have you done?" she shouted, But Jake didn't falter. "It's a trap!" he cried, panic lacing his words. "They used LoveLink as a front, and now they're triggering the code! They can access everyone's data. Everyone's!" A deafening roar cut through the chaos, the screens behind them flickering violently with static before revealing unsettling images. Faces, fragmented memories, people's most intimate confessions paraded across the screens, exposing joys and sorrows long buried. The crowd gasped, horror creeping through them like cold fingers. A woman shrieked as her secret was laid bare, and someone else fainted at the front, overwhelmed by the flood of emotions. "What's happening?" ... Alex shouted, desperation clawing through the noise. He turned to Jake, his chest tightening. "What did you do?" "I'm trying to protect you!" Jake's voice echoed with urgency. "But they're not who we thought! They're using everyone! Look!" His heart dropped into an abyss as the reality began to sink in. The algorithm wasn't just about connection. It was about control. LoveLink become a tool for something far darker. The entire purpose twisted beyond recognition. Suddenly, a flicker of recognition sparked in the depths of his memory. His mother, Ava, and now Jake. They all haunted his understanding. Shapes and shadows from a past he'd tried to escape. Trust withered, replaced by raw, visceral doubt. Then, like a bolt from the blue, the screens exploded with a final image. A dark figure standing behind a desk piled with papers, sinister and shrouded. They turned to face the camera, revealing the unmistakable smile of his father. "What?" Alex breathed, shock coursing through his veins. The room fell silent, everyone processing the revelation. His father had been missing, presumed dead. But there he was, alive and orchestrating everything from the shadows. "Dad?" The words slipped from his lips, a question that echoed through the silence, breathtaking and damning. As he struggled to piece it all together, a chill washed over him, a revelation that transformed everything, twisting relationships he thought he understood. And then, if his father had returned, what role had he played? What sacrifices were made in secrecy? And was anyone telling the truth? Momentum shifted, the room crackling with uncertainty. Jake stepped closer, eyes wide. "I don't know how deep this goes, Alex, but we're too late if we don't act now." Alex's mind swirled. The sudden shift turned the world upside down. Could he trust anyone now? With his father's twisted legacy looming over him, he felt the walls closing in, making breath come harder. Everybody watching, waiting. But all he felt was confusion and fear. "What do we do?" He repeated again, desperately searching for clarity, as reality twisted once more. The chaos of the room faded into the background, and he was left teetering on the edge of a storm, the truth hovering just out of reach. Would he turn away from everything, or face what lay ahead, risking everything? As the weight of uncertainty settled, Alex's heart raced. The question hung heavy in the air. What did he truly know? And as he stood on the brink of revelation, he realized they were all ensnared in a web much larger than they had ever imagined. Alex stood at the edge of the chaos, the world spinning around him. His heart raced, every thud echoing the storm in his chest. Jake's words hung in the air, heavy, unyielding. The figure on the screen, his father, smirked as waves of horror crashed over the crowd. Gasps turned into whispers, confusion fluttering like a trapped bird. "Everyone, we need to get out now!" Jake shouted, urgency dripping from his voice. His mother's face twisted with pain, the emotional weight breaking her composure. "Alex, listen to me!" she cried, gripping his hands tightly. "This isn't just about Lovelink anymore. We have to expose them. Everything must come to light." And as he looked into her eyes, he sensed the truth deeper than he ever wanted to admit. They'd taken more than he could fathom. Lives, emotions, freedom. "No!" He shook his head, the fear clawing at his insides. "We can't let this continue." The crowd trembled, expectant eyes driving his fear deeper, begging for a decision. Maya stepped forward, aligning herself beside him, her eyes betraying a flicker of understanding. "Alex, I can help you," she said, her voice steady. "If we work together, we can shut them down, all of them." But even in that moment, doubt flickered in his mind. Could he trust her? Was her offer genuine, or just the haunting reflection of a broken past? Jake slammed his fists on the podium. "You have to decide now. Trust anyone but your father. He's been behind this all." Alex felt heat rise in his chest. Driven by a mixture of fury and fear, he turned to the screen. "You want to control emotions?" His voice was steady now, fueled by purpose. "Then let's show everyone the truth." In an instant, every eye watched him, the room holding its breath. Everyone deserves to know what's happening. We'll take the fight to them. Show how Lovelink was never our creation. It's a beast that must be slain. Cheers erupted among the crowd as a wave of determination swept through, igniting hope in the dimmest of places. "Let's gather evidence," Lena shouted, her voice rising above the din. "Every single person affected, every single connection. We can turn this around." The energy shifted. They could do this together. With renewed purpose, arms linked, and spirits aligned, they rushed to their devices, ready to compile the crucial evidence. But just then, a rumbling voice cut through the excitement. The figure on the screen spoke, chilling and commanding. "You really think you can stop this? You are already in the web. You're too late." It was Alex's father. His eyes glinted with menace. "The code is already in motion, Alex. You can't see that we've been preparing for this moment. Your fate was sealed from the beginning." Fear coursed through Alex, yet deep down, a spark of defiance burned. "We're not afraid of you," he shouted, glaring at the screen. "We'll take back what's ours." With every tap of the keyboard, every connection ignited with truth, the wave grew stronger. As users' stories poured forth, raw and real, emotions surged like a tide. Each confession revealed the twisted manipulation. Every moment laid bare the darkness that threatened to consume. And as reality crashed in waves, the crowd watched in awe. The light of truth began to spread, igniting a fire of resistance. Slowly, the figures on the screen shifted. "No," the voice echoed, full of frustration. "You think this is your victory? You will pay. But Alex felt a deeper resolve. Voices of support swelled around him. His mother, Ava, Jake, and even Maya. Together, they stood as a fortress against the rising storm. As the screen flickered and buzzed, Alex knew that the town would remember this day. They were the architects of their own fate now. But in the back of his mind, shadows loomed. The question of what would come next lingered, as thick as the smoke of the truth they had ignited. What would happen to Lovelink now? Could they truly fight back the darkness that hung over them? The mystery of the future loomed just out of reach, leaving questions buzzing in the aftermath. As the tension hung in the air, Alex faced the reality of what lay ahead, knowing their fight was far from over. Now, before you go, listen closely. You have to subscribe now to the channel, or you might miss out on more exclusive stories coming your way. Smash that like button to give the algorithm the boost it needs. And flood that comment section with your reactions and theories about this explosive ending. Don't wait even a second longer to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this. Your soup